Well, it's finally here. The highly anticipated limited edition Smartwool and Grateful Dead collection has finally dropped exclusively at smartwool.com.
You may know Smartwool as the go-to brand for all things merino wool, from socks to base layers. Smartwool has been keeping people comfortable outside for decades with some of the softest and ethically sourced merino wool out there.
Well, Smartwool's limited edition collection and collaboration with the Grateful Dead is back by popular demand right in time for the holidays.
From t-shirts and hoodies to beanies and socks, now you can have the next level comfort of Smartwool with all your favorite iconic Grateful Dead designs. Shop the drop exclusively at smartwool.com and get it before it's gone for good. Gone for good. That's Smartwool, SMARTWOOL.com.
Loyalty described as, do you care? And I care, and that's why I'm on this show. Comes a time, here we go.
I'm a sucker for Oteil, man. I saw that same feeling that I have, that would he fill the void that I didn't even know existed.
It feels so good to, as Ben said, to try to do something about an issue as opposed to complaining.
If you can't help, don't hurt.
If we could just all get out there and throw cream puffs at each other, maybe things, instead of bullets and angry words, it would be better.
When you stop laughing, you stop living.
There's a worldwide surge in interest in mushrooms.
It was deep, man.
It's not that TM makes your mind quiet down there. It already is. We're just stuck up here. We've lost access.
Jumpin' Jack Flash came out by the Stones. So I thought, all right, perfect, man. I'm gonna drive. And I started driving through the neighborhood, and I got a text from Mick Jagger.
People saying that, what we do is non-essential. Well, playing those few gigs that you saw me at felt pretty essential to me.
It wasn't like they were clapping from here. It was they were clapping from here.
My view of things is that death is the last and best reward for a life well lived.
Like it's the strangest of places if you look at it right,
If you're liking what you're hearing, head on over to patreon.com/comesatimepod and get your bus pass for an extra episode every week. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Comes to Time. That's Mike.
That's Oteil. Wow. All I could say is wow. This one was whew.
Inspiration
Amazing.
Is on 10 right now.
Yeah.
And I was having kind of a crappy day. Not crappy. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It was not crappy. I wasn't feeling so great.
Okay. Good turn.
And all that's over because of Lester Chambers.
Yeah, we had Lester Chambers.
Holy cannoli.
Yeah, this was we've had a couple of really powerful history lessons basically in the past couple episodes, and a couple of guests that have just come on with like a glowing, beaming vibe right off the bat, and this was both in one. Yeah. And I mean, immediately right off the rip, it was like, wait, what? Like a jaw-dropping story. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
I don't even want to give any spoilers.
No spoilers. Yeah.
You got to watch this one. Like, seriously, you want to watch this one. There's so many. I remember working with this guy, Cedell Davis. Cedell had it really rough. He is from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, probably born in the 40s, maybe, I'm going to say. Black blues guy. So just right there, you got 8 strikes against you. But then he got polio. And so his hands curled up and he couldn't put the slide on his finger. He played slide guitar and sang.
Oh, jeez.
And so he had to turn the guitar over, learn to play left-handed. He would stick a butter knife in this hand, which is still kind of messed up, but not as bad as the other one, right?
Wow.
And so it sounded just unreal. Then his legs were real brittle, I guess, because of polio. He got trampled in a police raid of this juke joint and crushed his leg. So then he was in a wheelchair. All that to say, this guy was always the brightest light in the room. He would come in. He would need help peeing. I can't tell you how many times I held a cup for him in a studio session or whatever to pee, and he would drink like a case of beer. So he peed a lot. But he was always like, you would be down about whatever, and then after you were with Seidel for like 5 minutes, you were laughing, just bright. He literally shift everything in a room. It didn't matter what was in it. And Lester has that same question. As soon as the frame came up and he just had that, not just a smile, but there's like a ring light. Yeah.
Radiance.
Beaming halo of positivity. Just like, and he'll tell you exactly why. Like, and he's
unbelievable.
Right. He's right. That's all I can say. Sold. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, this was a big one. This was
Really
this
big
was
one.
unbelievable and needed and very neat. Like, we get the guests that we need when we need them, and we don't. It's just they appear. So
the planet needs him. That's why he was like, when you hear this story, like every step of the way, there's a miracle that happens,
It's
because he needs to be on this planet doing exactly what he did from friggin' 14 years. Yeah. Like, wow.
Yeah. No,
you'll like this one.
Yeah. This was really special. This is really great. Thank you, Lester and Dylan Chambers, for joining us. And, this is just too, if you
Thank
could
God
watch
he had
it,
kids,
if
right?
you could
He
watch
passed
it,
that
watch
on.
it. Yeah, totally, dude. I know. Another phenomenal dad. Really great. Good father-son relationship. I love seeing like a parent-child, sibling music. I love it.
You know what I was thinking,
absolutely
right?
love it.
Because Nigel, he's kind of playing drums, and I'm trying to be not get too much hope, like whatever, just let it be what it is. And then when I saw it, I was just like, it could happen, Oteil. You could be sitting there and playing bass and look over, and there's Nigel on drums, just
Spinning a
killing it.
stick. Yeah.
Oh, he's already trying to do that stuff now. I got to show him the videos I just found.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So y'all enjoy. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you everybody for listening. Thanks so much. If you want more of us, come over to patreon.com/Comes a Time Pod for a bonus episode every week. We love all of you for joining and supporting us. And if you keep coming over there, we'll keep bringing more to you. So thank you guys. Enjoy this episode and take care.
So how are you feeling today, man?
I feel fantastic. I'm marvelously blessed.
You look like it. You have a real glow about you.
I'm a very happy man. And as I said earlier, a very blessed man. And that brings about a smile all day. I smile in my sleep.
I love it.
Man, what's that secret? Tell us how you do it.
I'm just happy. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be able to, at my age, to continue singing and have a crowd of people that love me and stuff. And to be with Moon Alice is a blessing.
How old are you?
82.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on. Because, wow. I'm thinking that when I'm 82, for one thing, I hope I'm smiling like that.
I hope you are too. But I tell you, the secret to it, the real secret to it is to be good to yourself.
Be good to
Think
yourself.
of yourself as the greatest you're number one. In everything you do and everything, you're number one. Always think like that. And I thought like that for a long time now. I'm the number one guy.
Well, when I was trying to figure out how to be good to myself, I had no idea how to do it. I was stuck in a pattern of being bad to myself. So that
totally
was part of it. But it's harder for some people. And I was one of them when they say, you got to be good to yourself.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Like, because there's a lot of now that I've had some time being good to myself, I'm gonna go, oh, it's in all these little ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What was it? How does that play out for you? Like, what are the different ways you're good to yourself?
In every way you can imagine and think of, I try to be good to me. And I always put myself as number one. Anybody else, my wife, my kids, number one is me, number two, my wife, but I'm not married anymore. So now my number one is Dill.
Yeah.
My son here.
Yeah. So do you how are you good to yourself physically? Do you still get outdoors and walk? And I guess you're out playing. You're on the road.
Yeah, man.
Yes, we are playing on the road and having fun and really enjoying it. Such a great group of people. Yeah. It's incredible. The T Sisters, the band, Roger. It's just a little piece of heaven always with me.
Is that something that you had to learn later on in life to be nice to yourself, or is that something that you were taught as a child?
It's something I taught myself as a child, and my mother influenced it. She always told me, be good to yourself. Don't let nobody tell you nothing bad about you. You tell them that doesn't work with you. I'm good to me.
I love that.
Yeah. I think that we've been noticing, Oteil and I have been noticing in the past couple episodes we've had a few guests that had a real big radiating smile when they came on. And I think it's because you don't see a lot of them these days, right? I mean, it sticks out when you see someone actually happy. It does. You go, that person's amazingly happy.
Yeah, well, it's all up to you. And there's so many things to be unhappy about today. To be happy and know that you're happy, and nobody can change that. You know, it's all up to you to be happy and to be good to yourself.
You had a lot of adversity at the beginning. You came from Mississippi, right?
Right. That was the first real good thing. That was the really first good thing, getting out of Mississippi.
And how did that happen? Can you tell us about that transition?
It sort of happened. Two of my brother-in-laws was in California working and to make sure we had a place to come to. And they drove down to Mississippi and picked us up.
Nice.
It wasn't easy getting out, but we got out.
What was making it hard for you to get out?
Well, we were living on a slave sharecroppers farm, on a farm, and it wasn't easy because they didn't want us to go. And so we had to sneak out.
So they were trying to prevent you from leaving?
Yeah, they did it. We wouldn't have gotten out if they had anything to do with it. We would still be in Mississippi.
Oh my God.
Probably underground, for sure. Because my brothers and I had gotten to the point to where we knew life was better, could be better. We weren't going to accept that bull anymore. And my father decided he needed to get us out of Mississippi so we could live, just to live.
Yeah.
Because most young men, like my age now, I would have never been here. But just to think of what you go through in Mississippi, I don't even like to think of it, and it's hard to talk about it. But it's a scary life being a man of color living in Mississippi. Very scary.
So you had to actually sneak out. I mean, that's like a movie plot.
You know what happened one night? We had, my mother and my father said, every time you go outside, take something small and put it in the car so it doesn't look like we're moving. So we got the car ready, and we were sitting there one night, and God blessed us with this booming thunder and lightning storm and rain. And we thought, here we are. We got cover. Wow. So we pushed the car approximately a quarter of a mile out of the long driveway, not a driveway, but the road, to where it would roll down the hill. We didn't want to start it for fearing they would hear the motor start and see the lights come on. So we pushed the car up the hill, got in it, and rolled down the hill, and we're free.
Oh my God!
But now, if it's raining now, and you got to push a car uphill, it's going to get muddy.
Yes.
Dude,
wow,
this is like a movie. Oh my goodness!
Holy
crap!
Nobody can see that, but it really does happen like that, and
wow,
yeah.
Wow.
It's a hard life. It's a hard life being from the South, and a good life after you get out of the South.
Yeah. So you headed to California from there?
We went straight to California.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
You don't stop till you see the water. You can't go any further.
Wow. Yeah. We had right at the shore. We left as far south as you can go to as far west as you could go. And that was a good drive.
Where in California?
Los Angeles.
Right to Los Angeles.
Right to Los Angeles, yeah.
That must have been kind of a shock, right?
It was. We got there at night, and when I wake up the next morning and I go outside and I don't see all those trees, and there's a cement sidewalk to walk on, and I'm going, what in the heck is this, Wow. And there's a lawn and stuff. I never seen stuff like that, because in Mississippi, all you had was a dirt yard with no grass. And if you could have put something on it that the sharecropper, the owner, could have used, he would have. And I have seen people have stuff right up to their doorsteps growing for the farm. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What a complete, wow, what an experience that must have been to be like in a whole other experience. And you said your uncles were there already?
Two of my brother-in-laws and my brother George.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And two of my sisters had already slipped away.
And they were in LA.
They were in LA making preparations for the five small of us, It was three
Are
boys.
all of you guys musical?
Yes. The four of us are the only four that really pursued it. Now I'm having great words that my nephews and cousins and stuff are starting a Chambers Family Music Company, which is really, really incredibly great, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're now in LA.
Yes.
How does starting over happen? What happens when you get there? Is it right into the music world from there, or do you?
Well, no, we had some schooling to do, because in Mississippi they don't want you in school; they want you on the farm, farming, doing work. But in Mississippi, you don't get to go to school until all of the vegetation, the crops are gathered, if you're black, and which is maybe 2 or 3 months of the school season. By now, we would still be working in the field, pulling corn, or picking peas, or beans, or whatever was growing. And you couldn't go to school because you had to work. California was, I couldn't get enough. I didn't enjoy the sitting around so much. So 2 or 3 weeks after I was there, I got a job loading a truck at night. And then I got into school, and that was a gas. School was different. I hadn't seen many books, but now I'm 14 years old and had a whole handful of books. So I spent a lot of time reading. Plus, my mother had said in Mississippi, we only had one book in the house, and that was the Bible.
Yeah.
So anytime we wanted to read, my mother and father had taught us to read, helped teach us to read, we would say, "Can I read the Bible?" And they would say, "Yes, but try not to tear the pages." So that's what I learned to read, was the Bible. I had read the Bible over and over several times just because it was there. It was the only book.
Yeah.
And at night, we would sit around the fireplace in the wintertime and sing gospel hymns.
Wow.
It was just what a life.
Man, too much. So when did you start doing, trying to do music professionally?
Well, after we had gotten to Los Angeles, we had been professional, as professional as you could be in Mississippi. We were a gospel group in Mississippi. Yeah. So a friend of ours had bought a school bus to haul everybody to school. And he would come on the weekends and take us from churches to churches and stuff. So we would sing gospel in the churches there. Then when we came to California, we sort of was at a standstill until we joined the church. We joined the church, started singing gospel in the churches, but we were kids. And my brother George was already grown. We couldn't find a uniform, matching suits, which they required you to have, everybody to have on the same suit, same shirt, same tie, same socks, same everything. So we got expelled from the Gospel Association because we couldn't dress properly because of the size of one guy big and one guy small. So we went to the coffee house, and Landon Hopkins was playing there. And he saw my brother had his hair marceled, which is like conked, they call it.
Yeah. Slick back.
Yeah, slick back. And Landon Hopkins saw that and went, "How did you get your hair like that?" And my brother Joe said, "I can do yours." He goes, "Oh, man, I love that." So my brother did Landon Hopkins' hair, and he took us back to the Ash Grove, introduced us to Ed Pearl, the owner of the Ash Grove. And he told him we were gospel singers, and he said, "Well, we have no place here for gospel groups. We like country folk music, you know?" So we kept bothering him until he decided to let us do an audition, which was on a Monday night. And everybody in that part of California tried to be there for the hootenanny, they call it. And we tore it up. They had never heard gospel like we do it, but we wore them out. When we got off stage, they had to have, the waitresses had to come in and reorganize the club because everybody had got up and gone crazy.
Wow.
We got hired at the Ash Grove as often as we wanted after that. And then we had a problem with that because we're still doing gospel. And this lady, the number one lady of gospel at this time, had never sung in a club or a coffee house. So she protests that we stop singing in clubs, gospel music, because they were serving alcohol, and gospel should be sacred. They kept from places where alcohol beverages were served. So the newspaper asked us, what did we think? And we said, well, we think there's enough people that don't go to church that would come to the coffee house to see this gospel because it's in their kind of setting.
Right.
But we still got the word "no more gospel" in the club. So we turned to Jimmy Reed. And he's the man that discovered America, as far as I'm concerned, with music and rhythm. He put it in the house. He put it everywhere. And still today, in the end, almost every song you hear has a bit of Jimmy Reed in it. And he didn't get credit for it because he was a black man too. Somebody else got credit for playing doom, 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 doom. Okay? Well, don't you know, we kept doing that, and Ed Pearl called us back. So we figured it out. We'll do the gospel show first, the gospel set first, and give all the Christians time to go home and get ready for tomorrow.
I love it. It's
And
perfect.
the people that like to drink and stay out late, we'll do the blues show for them.
Perfect.
And it worked. Boy, did it ever work.
Yin and yang. I love it.
Yeah, yin and yang, yeah.
I'm still tripping off the fact that totally iconic Lightning Hopkins slick back hair look he got
Your
from
brother.
your brother.
Yes. My brother did his hair.
Oh man, that's
My brother
so
Joe
good.
did his hair. It was incredible.
Damn.
He was quite a guy, Lightning was. Well, quite a guy.
Yeah. They need to make a movie about your life. I mean,
Well,
wow. Holy cannoli, man.
I mean, and we're only halfway. But this
We
is
haven't even
just,
got
this is
up-
chapter 1 of the movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, I've written a book that's
I get
now
it.
on the market, and there's a friend of mine that I kind of sort of grew up with for a few years. He's a writer, and his name is John Donnelly, and he's writing the script for the movie as we speak.
perfect.
Perfect, eh?
Because
Yeah.
this is too much,
Yes.
man.
I'm
I'm so glad to hear it.
Well, I mean, and it's just if it wasn't for a thunder and lightning storm, if it
All
wasn't
from God.
for Lightning
And it came-
Hopkins, if it wasn't
came-
for
It came from God.
Absolutely, man.
All glory be.
The cover.
And Lightning Hopkins' hair.
Yeah. Honest to God.
May I take a sip of coffee?
Oh, geez,
Hey,
take
man.
2.
We're
Okay.
a free-form podcast.
And if it wasn't for someone who, see, this is the interesting thing. We start talking about make sure you take care of yourself, right?
Yes.
And how interesting is it that it's like that if someone didn't come and even protest, like that woman complained, right? And then that
Yes.
made you change your approach to the performance,
Right.
which led to, I mean, an incredible career.
Incredible career.
I mean, yin and yang, right? You took that,
Right, yin and yang.
whatever it handed you,
Yeah,
and turned it into something that you were able to take care of
correct.
yourselves and take care
Yes.
of you.
Yes.
What a lesson.
Mhm.
How many people would have just said, well, that's all we have now? Like, I guess it was fun while it lasted.
Well, I don't know, but I think most people would have walked away
Right.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
most gospel singers wouldn't say, well, we're going to go from gospel to blues. But we did. And very successfully had a career, great career, many years. I'm still at it.
Still at it.
I mean, you're still doing it. So tell us leading up to like when you get the hit song of yours, because I saw that movie Summer of Soul
Right.
in the theaters. It was me and my drummer. We were the only 2 people in the theater because it was right after everything opened back up in the pandemic. And I said,
right.
we got to see it
I
on the
remember
big
that.
screen.
Right.
And I mean, to go now, see, I didn't know when I was seeing you on that where you started out,
Correct.
you know, like to go from having to literally escape under the cover of a blessed thunderstorm to having a big hit song, you know.
Time has come.
I mean, which we love because our podcast is called Comes a Time.
Right.
So our very first podcast, we were like, the The time has come for Comes the Time. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is perfect, man.
Yes.
But how was that leading up to having like an actual hit song? I mean, you must have been like, whoa.
Well, fortunately, hippies were born. And
what a great sentence.
I feel the same way.
And young people were at rest. They didn't want to be in a particular place. They just wanted to be. And as we were traveling cross country to coffee house, you would see all these young people walking, hitchhiking at one corner, at a crossroad like this. You would find 15, 20 people standing there with their thumbs out, trying to go somewhere. They wanted to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So we compiled this bunch of lyrics. Time has come today for young hearts to go their way. Can't put it off another day. They say we don't listen anyway, because time has come today.
It's amazing.
And we had all kinds of trouble. Now when we wrote this song, we were on the label Columbia Records. And for the life of them, they did not want this song on the market. They refused to. But we had a great pal, buddy, in the production office with the Columbia, David Rubinson, that said, man, that's a shame we can't do this song. So he figured it out that we would go into the studio at midnight when they're supposed to shut down. We would go in and we recorded this song in one night, this whole album we did in one night. It's all live. Nothing on that album. There's not one overdub or done twice over.
Whoa.
There's none of that. We did this because we had played so many live concerts. Not concerts now. There were no concerts at this time, but there were shows.
Yeah.
You played colleges. That way, if you got the college circuit, you were on top of the market. Okay, so we had done that. We had proven ourselves to the school society, and we had more college gigs than you could imagine.
Nice.
And we had learned this set that we recorded. All these songs, except Going Uptown to Harlem and All Strung Out Over You. Those are the only two songs that we might have had a little problem and had to do twice. But they were all done in one take. Time has come today. The take that was accepted by the producer, David Rubinson, when it started to slow down, that was supposed to be the end of the song. And I was on the cowbell. And I thought, no, this is too good. And I brought it back up. And they followed just like that. It's just, because we were brothers. And what one do, the other follow through,
Yeah.
And so that was the first time that we had ever recorded it like that and tried to. And it came out perfect.
What's up, everybody? This is Mike, and today's show is sponsored by Sunset Lake CBD, a Vermont hemp farm crafting affordable CBD products designed to help with stress and sleep without breaking the bank.
Sunset Lake CBD is a majority employee-owned hemp farm located just outside of one of our favorite places, Burlington, Vermont. For years, Sunset Lake was a dairy farm producing milk for Ben & Jerry's ice cream. We had them on the podcast. In 2019, they diversified and started growing hemp for CBD.
And Sunset Lake CBD crafts products with hemp grown on their family farm and ships them directly to the customer, cutting out all the cost associated with getting on the shelves at stores. They have CBD products for every occasion and offer tinctures, salves, edibles, coffee, smokables, and even for that anxious dog of yours, they have pet products.
Ooh, I need to get some for my dog that's barking all the time. But I'll tell you this, I use these. The Sour Bears.
So good.
They are CBD gummies. I literally, no joke, I take these every night. They help me sleep. And it's almost bedtime.
Yep. And I still, as said it before, I'll say it again. You go to a long show, you come home, my 42-year-old ankles are not what they used to be. And I rub that salve all over them and put them up, enjoy a nice cocktail, and just let it ooze right into those sore bones. And you know what, folks? All you Comes a Time fans, if you check them out at sunsetlakecbd.com and use promo code TIME, T-I-M-E, you'll get 20% off all products. That's sunsetlakecbd.com. Use promo code TIME, 20% off all products. Sunset Lake CBD, farmer owned, Vermont grown. Thank you.
Get you some.
It just came out.
A hole in one.
Honestly, one night after it's closed.
And I love that. You had to sneak out of Mississippi, and then you had to sneak into the studio.
Correct.
Life's just all about sneaking.
It's all about tipping.
When it's necessary.
So, around what time, what year is this when you start to head out and do the college shows and the coffee houses and stuff? What year did you guys set out on the road?
In the early 60s.
Early 60s. Okay. So before the whole Summer of Love thing and all of that.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes. We were slaves on the road. Let me tell you, we couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
It was better than working, you know?
Yeah.
To us, it was like, it was like fun to go. We couldn't wait to get one. We would do gigs at coffee houses, and we would be like the house band there, not the house, or whatever you would call it. We'd be there for sometimes a month in one place. But then we had gotten to the point to wherever we go, they had sold out for weeks in advance because everybody wanted to see our show. We had a great show, and we did add gospel into the show, and it was accepted.
Now,
but the college students loved us, and I'm still running into doctors and lawyers that say, if you hadn't recorded Time Has Come Today, I might not be a doctor, or I might not be a lawyer, because that was our theme in school. That's what we studied by. That's what we woke up to. Tick tock, time. And so many lawyers all over the world have told us that's what they went to school by. Time has come today. And that's what they studied to. Time has come today. Several lawyers, several doctors have told me, and it went as far as to the military, where I saw a guy one time, we were in the dressing room, and this guy came up and he goes, Chambers Brothers, man, you guys saved my life. And what do you mean? He goes, well, I was in the military and we was in the foxhole. And we had heard Time Has Come Today and a Jimi Hendrix tune, I can't remember, and a Janis Joplin tune. They would fly over the troops in the helicopter and they would play it for them.
Whoa.
Over the speakers. So these troops had heard Time Has Come Today, and they were in a foxhole. And one day some guy came in and goes, man, time has come for us to get our so-and-sos out of this hole. And as soon as they got out, a round came in. Boom. Had they been there, the whole platoon would be dead.
Jeez.
Dude.
So we've had several. So I had one guy, you might know this story. He's a professional cook that had a problem with substances. And he decided he was going to end his world, his life. And he was sitting in his car at a cliff, waiting to put his foot on the gas and go over the cliff. And just as he got ready to do this, the DJ was talking and had the news on. And he said, as soon as the news is over, I'm going. When the news was over, the first thing the DJ played was TikTok. And he was already in pursuit, according to him, for his destiny. And it stopped him from going over the cliff. And he's still cooking.
And he's still cooking.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, so many great things happen.
That's amazing.
So many good things happen. With Time Has Come Today has been a savior for a lot of people. It has been a jump start for so many people who begin their lives and their careers. It's time.
Yeah.
And Time Has Come Today happens to be one of the greatest names a song could ever have.
Thanks.
And the other is People Get Ready.
Yeah. Your favorite.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
I mean, nothing sounds like that song. That song is so unique. I mean, it doesn't fit like into any, it's just so unique. And so like it catches you the second it comes on. It is captivating. And
that was the idea. TikTok.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Holy cow. Well, that's...
You know what's funny to me is that as messed up as their worldview is in Mississippi, the people that were trying to keep you there, their suspicions were correct. They were like, you can't let these people learn to read. You can't let them have freedom, because they knew all kinds of good things would happen. They'd be like, you got to really make sure that doesn't happen, you know, and they just stay here working, because look what you did coming from only being able to have school maybe
from 14 on, right?
2-3 months a year, only having one book in your house in Mississippi. And then you come up, you know, you
Save
make
lives.
it out, and all this, just one amazing thing. Now I know why you're smiling like this. And you're still doing it. Good gracious, man. Wow.
Well, there's a lot to smile about when you think of it. As bad as things are, there's a lot to smile about. I have a beautiful life. I'm as healthy as an 82-year-old man can be, and I've had as many days of sickness in my life. So to be healthy and able to just sit here and talk to you, to me, is such a blessing.
Us too.
And it certainly brings out that big old smile.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you're blessing us. That's for sure.
You know
man.
you know what the thing is too, to think about, right? And how many times do we talk about this, OTL, too? When Lester, you're good to yourself, so in turn, you're good to others.
There you go.
Right? When you're able to treat yourself.
Yes. That's right. If you're able to treat yourself good and be happy with yourself, then you can make others happy.
Yeah.
Because all you got is happy. But if you are mad and stuff like that, you're going to bring that too.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be it's not going to be received as a smile would.
Right.
That's so great, man.
That's important.
Yes.
That's super important.
And it's not like egotistical.
No,
You know, it's different. It's different than that. It's more self-care.
Please feel free to take a sip of that coffee too, because I feel like we've
drink as
talked
much
to you.
as you want.
You said two things right before you sip.
So how did you end up meeting and working with the band Moon Alice? Which, by the way, one of my dear friends, Jason Crosby, who plays keyboards with me and played in my band, The Peacemakers, a long time ago, 2000. Yeah, I love him to death. So I'm so glad that
he's the greatest. We're so blessed. It's such a great group of people. I've never been as happy in a band. I mean, I was happy with my brothers, and we went through a lot of hard time and hardship because of our color, and we went to places where we couldn't get hotels and stuff like that. But somebody would always open up a room, and you don't know how many times the five of us with our driver and roadie would sleep in one room in somebody's house, sitting upside the wall, because like the first time I saw Jimmy Reed, he was in a small room, and I asked him why was he there, and he said, well, they don't rent hotels to black people downtown. This was in Los Angeles, but it was the first time I saw Jimmy Reed, and I had no idea who Jimmy Reed was. But I've learned all about him. I've studied him, and I just released an album, tribute to Jimmy Reed.
Oh, great!
Which is on my own label, Stomp and Mud Records. It was just, like life is a handful of everything that you could imagine. And you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah, the
Thank
road.
God.
You've had
Thank God.
a lot of unique experiences on the road from what we've seen.
Oh, trust me. We were blessed. The whole time we traveled, we never had a flat tire.
Wow.
Really?
We never had the car break down. We never got a ticket on the road. And only once we were confronted by the police when we were in Detroit. And they saw us loading the car and they thought we were robbing a house. So that was it. Other than that, we were blessed by God, 100% free and clear.
They should call your movie A Hole in One.
A hole in ones.
A hole in ones. I mean, seriously. You never got stopped for speeding or anything. A parking
Never
ticket.
got stopped.
You know how many parking tickets we got for like parking somewhere trying to load? I mean, I've lost
how many times you hear about vans getting broken into and
yes, we never had that.
How many times we broke down?
Wow.
God, that's a blessing. And we never had a new car either. We always had an old junk clunker, but it would take us there and bring us back.
See, you had guardian angels, man. That's what's going on with that. I'm sorry, y'all.
Well, when you got a car traveling across the roads and four guys sitting in there singing beautiful spiritual harmony, and God is there.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can have is peace on the way.
So that's the secret.
That's one of them.
That's one of them.
That's one of them.
For sure.
And now, and you've had a tradition throughout your career too. It seems that playing with family, with being in
yes,
that's super important too. I'm always fascinated by that.
You had asked me how I got with Moon Alice. I was sitting at home one day, just sitting there in my favorite chair, and the phone rang. I answered it, hello. And he goes, Lester Chambers? I said, yes. Hey, it's Roger McNamee. I said, well, hey, how are you? And what can I do for you? He goes, well, I'm doing a concert in the park, in Golden Gate Park. And I wanted to know if you would join us. I said, oh God, yes. But only if you take my son with me, because he goes with me everywhere. I don't go nowhere without him. And he goes, sure. So we met, rehearsed, and we did the show. And he kept calling and asking. Finally, he said, would you like to be in Moon Alice? I said, yeah. Yeah. And there you go.
He said, we're already doing it.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. And God bless Roger, I'm still in Moon Alice and loving it. Woo.
I know a lot of those guys, man, from way back. So,
yeah, those are great guys. Aren't they great guys?
And ladies.
Don Molo.
Yeah.
Such a
Barry Salette. And Jason. Just incredible. Pete Sears. Bass. My God. You can't get no better. You can't be with no better. You know, it's just incredible. And we're just beautiful. We're like real family. Two of the girls the sisters have now had babies.
Oh, great.
And one is getting ready to have another. And it's, we're building a family here. Moon Alice. I says, we're going to the moon.
Well, how many times do you think you've played Golden Gate Park?
Oh, God. I'd have to count up, and it would take a minute.
It's like asking Ron Carter every record he did.
We're getting ready to do it again on the 11th. The 11th, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
We're in Golden Gate Park on the 11th of this month, yeah.
Wow.
11.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. It's a magical place out there, man.
Yeah, it's a magical place, and we expect a nice crowd of happy Christmas people, and it's incredible.
It's so great that you thought to say, like, not without my son.
Not without my son.
Gotta play with family. Gotta play with family.
Yeah.
Fascinated by that.
Well, I had a little bit of trouble with health issues, and I thought at that point it wouldn't be a good thing for me to be somewhere away from home without him with me.
Yeah.
So since that, I've made sure that he go with me everywhere I go. He plays with me every time I play. And he's one of the greatest singers I know. He is strong man, strong young man.
Well, he heard the good stuff from the beginning on.
Yeah, he did. He's I've told him stories that he all he can do is go, wow.
I bet.
And I don't talk about these things because nobody would believe it,
Yeah.
They're just, so I just smile and say, hey, everything's good. Everything's good. Always good.
Wow.
I'm glad the book is written and the movie's being written, and because, man,
the script is being written.
Yeah, that's important stuff for people to know. I mean, all any of us can say is wow at these stories. Like, whoa, especially at the outcome, because you're like the poster child for the American story par excellence. Like, wow, man. I'm blown away. And at your smile, at your attitude, mostly still, I know why now. I mean, it's, I guess, a lot easier to access your sense of gratitude when you really experience that kind of stuff. You know, and your health is good right now. So
my health
you're like,
right now, my health is good.
Yeah.
But I can only take it one day at a time, because at my age, there could be anything, could come around, but we push them back.
Yeah.
Way back. And I tell all kinds of sicknesses and illnesses. And one doctor told me that I had been sick with so many things that I'd probably live to be 140 years old because I've already had everything.
He's like, I got antibodies to everything.
Yeah.
They start calling you the cure.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and I do a bit of counseling of, people call me and ask me, questions about it, and I tell them how to survive,
Yeah.
the best of my knowledge.
A lot of times I heard this preacher say, don't let a spirit of whatever stay in you, jealousy or fear or whatever, greed. And he would characterize it that way, like it was something that like it could make a home in you.
Yes.
If you let it stay. And I was like, wow, that's a good way to look at it. Like a spirit of depression, a spirit. And you have the opposite. You have purposefully cultivated a spirit of overcoming to grow in you so that, you had to have it. It was forced on you at the beginning, but still like through all the trials that you've been through, health, just being black in the 60s, 70s, like wherever. And that's where your smile is coming from like cultivating that spirit of like, push it back. That's such a beautiful thing, man. I really hope a bunch of people see this podcast.
So do I.
And if they get that out of it, if they get one thing out of it, man, I hope they get that.
Yeah. Well, if you think good things all the time, do good things all the time, and number one, give credit where credit is due. Yeah. And it's all due to God. He's the, if you can imagine if we had this guy then and now, and you brought him with you through all your life. If you met him when you were young, like I did, my parents instilled Christianity into us and right from wrong. They made sure that we really knew that, right from wrong. And the number one, there's so many number one things to take notice to, but respect is, in my view of getting through life, living life, respect is the greatest of all. Respecting your fellow man, your sisters, your brothers, and wherever you are, just respect. It's incredible. You get so much out of it that you have another smile coming. Another reason. Because you've been good all your life, and you respect people and their lives and their style. Whatever they do, you can't change people. You can only suggest that they do change, And being out of Mississippi has developed a smile that I'll never lose.
Understandably so. Understandably so. Yeah.
That's been a big, I see that every night. I see it every day. And I think about what would have happened every day. Man. And I thank God that it didn't happen, but it could have been bad. It could have been real bad right there.
And everybody gets so down on themselves and so buried in their own stuff that when you think about what you're saying, like sometimes the best answer is the most simple and the most easy. It's right there in front of us all the time, and we never see it. And it's just a simple. We have to choose to be happy that day. Like we're not guaranteed it, right? And I think that's a thing that a lot of folks deal with, is just sort of like, why is life doing this to me? And it's like, well, what are you bringing to the situation? Are you bringing happiness, or are you bringing, and that's
animosities and bad thoughts, bad ways, instead of having a drink in the morning when you wake up, thank God for blessing you to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That's great right there. Just set alone. Thank God I'm awake today. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. Sometimes I look at my happiness as something like that don't have to steal, but I will steal it. You know what I mean? Like, you just be like,
of course,
grab it right now. Before it gets out of reach, just like, I got it. Okay.
I got it.
You're not going anywhere.
It's mine.
Just eat it.
There you go. It's stuffy down in there.
Well, you have to, right? Or else, someone can steal it from you, or something can steal it from you if you don't hold on to it. And
I have had that happen.
Sure.
And I just smile and say, well, I guess they needed it more than I did.
That's very big of you.
I'm glad you got it. And if I lose money, I think, well, I hope a needy person finds it. I pray that a needy person picks it up, not for bad stuff, but for good stuff.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can. I remember when nobody had to steal mine. I would just throw my happiness away. I'd just be like, I think you're going to want that later, man.
Yeah. Or you look at it and go, who are you? I don't know you.
Yeah. What is that? It's a garbage, that's a hard thing when you think you don't deserve it. Right. I remember I had a revelation one time, and the thought occurred to me, well, if God loves me and I didn't do all this, right? So who am I really to not love myself?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like with my son, Nigel.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to try to make sure he gets, well, he already does know that. He's like, he knows that he's deserves happiness. It wouldn't occur to him otherwise, because I've done a really good job making sure he feels loved, and
Yeah, if you set the right example, then there you go. What would my daddy do?
Yeah.
What would my daddy have done?
Yeah.
My dad wouldn't have liked that. You need to think that way if you've got little kids, and put that in their minds to.
Yeah.
What would you do in case of? What would you do?
Yeah.
How would you do it? We need to spend a lot of time with what to do and how to do, because we got a group of people that's taking us out, in politics and different ways, different means and different ways they just do wrong.
Yeah.
And they don't care, and
they don't,
they just don't care. They all about greed.
That's right.
It blows my mind, because they don't even care about their own children and grandchildren. I'm like, how? Wow.
It
does still blow my mind.
It does indeed. Like, wow. I think of this every day too, and I pray every day on this that it'll get better. And the best thing I can say is, God bless the children of this world. And the ones that's coming into this world, they need to be blessed. The mothers, the fathers, but
the whole other world.
We need to bless them too.
This world has changed, Yeah. And when I lived in Mississippi, it was so great. Even though I worked hard as a sharecropper, when I got off work, when the sun went down, that's when you stop working in Mississippi, when the sun go down. And you start when the sun come up. I think so much about things like that. And I think, what would have happened if the whole world was still like that?
Yeah.
You know? But changes have come, and changes had to come because overpopulation, just incredible. I don't think this overpopulation is just too many people trying to be in the same space, you know?
Yeah.
Move it to the country.
Yeah, spread out. That's what I did. I got out.
Spread out.
Move out
6 feet. Arms width. Yeah, no, it's true. It's very true. It really is.
Yeah.
Man, it is just it's so incredible to chat with you. And
likewise.
Yeah, man, you brightened my whole year, dude. Wow. Thank you.
My son is here, wants to say hello to you. And
Please.
I bet he's one of the coolest guys on earth.
I try to be. He's cooler.
Well, when you got a dad that cool, I mean, you gotta be okay with the silver medal and cool.
Right, yeah.
I can't wait to hear you guys, man.
Oh, please, man.
Well, we got CDs available. Moon Alice Volume 1 and 2, full Moon Alice. Volume 1, Volume 2. We're into Volume 2 right now.
Dylan, do you do any solo stuff? You do any music on your own?
I've got my own project called Midnight Transit that's like more like aggressive, high energy rock and roll, more of like a Rage Against the Machine kind of sound.
Nice.
Actually, Oteil, you and I are still in the midst of a project with Jason. You're playing bass on a song that I wrote for all my people who can't breathe, and it's a song that me and Jason were writing after George Floyd, and it's that really heavy song. It's like all it takes is a spark. The spark lights the flame, and we'll have to. I haven't finished it because I want to get more people of color on the track because of the message of what we're singing, and I want some female gospel voices on there too. So.
Yeah,
it's coming, but that's going to be a major one once we release it, man. I'm excited for that.
Nice.
But yeah. Jason's on all of the keyboards on all my tracks too, so I'll have to send over, Midnight Transit stuff for you to check out and hear. And yeah,
I'm ready, bro.
Can I ask you to, if you could, just encapsulate when you're on stage with your dad, and you look over and you guys are performing together, just what that feeling is like for you?
Yeah, that is. That feeling is like home, right? Like I've been on stage with him since I was a little kid, and it's
4 years old.
Whenever someone's like, "Oh, this is what I was meant to do. This is what fuels my soul." It's definitely rocking and rolling on stage, and it's really special now because with Moon Alice, like the level of care that happens with the band, and then what we're able to do on stage is like it's next level, and
right,
and being able to sing these and amazing Chambers Brothers songs and all these songs together and like see the audience resonate with what we're doing. It's really special, man. I keep telling him like, you're going to keep singing with me until you're 100 years old.
140 maybe. Awesome, man. Well, that's fantastic. We're happy for both of you guys. And thank you for your time. And thank you for everything. I know it's early where you are. So thank you for getting, a nice early start.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
We had to do a MSNBC interview where we were up at like 4 a.m. So this ain't that bad.
Oh, wow.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. Well, that's
morning television's the next level.
Plus, we had to drive an hour to get to where we had to be.
Oh, Lord.
We had to be up at 2 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll give you guys the rest of your day. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All good. Anytime. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Great day.
Thank
you, Lester.
God bless
you, Lester. Dylan.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Peace out.
Peace.